Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Aaron with HEX Life Style. I'm really excited for our first female interview. I interviewed Shanda and Liz of Wearhouse, Kentucky. They talk about how they've been sourcing during the quarantine, their new shop, and how it's finally coming together, and how they can't wait for the Drunken Flea to get back up and running again. So grab your drinks and sit back and enjoy episode number 5 with Shanda and Liz of Wearhouse, Kentucky. Okay, so I'm with Wearhouse, Kentucky. Girls, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Take it away.
Hi, guys. My name's Shanda.
And my name's Liz.
And together we are Shiz.
Love it.
But,
thank you guys for doing this. I think you all, this is kind of a first because you all are my first female interview on HEX Life and Style, and I'm really, really pumped about it. So
we are too.
I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
Well, we'll get rolling, okay? So let's start out. So what have you all, either one of you, what have you all been doing during the quarantine?
We've been together basically the whole time. We've been getting the shop organized. That's a huge thing that we've kind of been ignoring, but now we're doing a lot of it.
Because we have to.
We're being forced.
In a good way.
Yeah. In the best way.
And then also we've been trying to figure out creative ways to source stuff.
Yeah.
Because we've missed Goodwill. Like, we were having serious withdrawals.
I'm like, yeah.
I keep looking down there. Sorry.
Hey, let's jump into that. That's cool that you brought that up. So I was talking with you all a while back, and you talked about some unique ways that you've been sourcing during the quarantine. So let's talk about your abandoned picking. So give us a story about that.
Okay. You go first. Okay, I'm going to go get the baby.
So we have been going and driving abandoned houses, or like something I've always gone through, like growing up, and Liz too. He's in the office, I think. And we've been trying to find old houses to like go sourcing in, and it's getting harder because they're like getting torn down or vandalized, and so it's also kind of illegal probably, but we have rules for it. We don't go into it if there's a no trespassing sign, and we don't like vandalize it or anything. So anyway, this week we went on like a drive, like we went towards the gorge, kind of like an hour away, and we went through some old houses, and this is actually one of the things that we found.
Oh, I love it.
Isn't it cool?
It's a 1950s, it's actually the baby Jesus saint. I think it's from Prague. Someone messaged us and told us, but also it's chalkware. It's a type of, we didn't know if it was like ceramic or what it was made of.
It's like what they used before, like ceramic, and
it's like its own little thing.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even know thing, but yeah, we found him. He was just chilling in this old house,
hanging out, little baby Jesus.
Yeah. So we got him.
Hopefully it brings you good luck and not bad karma, since you did kind of rip it out of an old abandoned
That's
house.
so true.
but
we're haunted now.
Definitely really, really cool. And yeah, I love those chalk figurine types.
Mm-hmm.
I used to I've had a couple that you used to go to like a fair and play the games and stuff, and instead of the stuffed animals, they would give those away.
What?
What?
They would give like chalk figurines away like that.
That's cool. I want that.
You said this was when you were a kid?
No, I'm not that old, Shonda. Come on.
I'm just kidding. I thought that's what you said.
No, I'm saying, I might have, I don't know, but no, I'm saying like long, like I'm talking like 30s, 40s, that time frame.
Way better.
I was not born in that time period.
No, I'm just kidding.
But I know I look old, especially with the stash. I know that it makes me look a lot older, but.
Well, you're amazing. So let's not talk about aging.
Thank you. But so talk about, what about some clothing? I know you guys do a good mixture of decor and clothing, and we'll get into that in a little bit later about kind of, Wearhouse, Kentucky, and kind of what the style is and what the vibe is with you all. But what about clothing? Have you guys had any luck with finding anything?
Not clothing in particular.
It's been hard.
Like when people are selling like on Facebook Marketplace and all that kind of stuff, it's usually like, here's a tub of stuff. And it's kind of hard because it's like, do we want to spend money on stuff that we might not even
and a lot of the times with right now, since we can't go sourcing and thrifting, like we're really good at seeing the clothes and being able to touch them and just kind of like stumbling upon them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we could look on eBay. We don't buy clothes really on eBay, or we haven't yet. But you know, we could look on there. But it's still kind of, I just like to touch it and see it in person. Like furniture and home and art, that's kind of different for me. But clothing, I just like to, you know,
I want to see it for myself before I'm like, yeah, I'm going to spend money on that.
I've been asking people. We've been asking people
begging. We'll be
to
like
go through their attics. But it's been, we've like contemplated if we should go past Goodwill and see if like, no, I'm just kidding. We didn't do that.
We didn't do it, but we have contemplated it. If
people, because they, apparently there's like an overflow and stuff like stacking up outside, but we have driven past a couple Goodwills and we don't see anything. Not that we would take it.
Well, listen, there's a jet going over. Imagine the odds of a jet going over, you know, outside for once and all the noises. So hopefully everybody can't hear that.
No, but you're good. It's a nice day.
I tell you both, listen, so don't do that. I'm just giving you a heads up.
We thought about it, but there's cameras. And
because you will get arrested, and they do have that on. They'll have it on video.
Oh, heck yeah.
And
then you have to go in disguise, incognito. When it does open, you have to go incognito to even get in there, probably. So.
Yeah, so.
Don't worry. We were joking. We were just joking with the idea. We would never do it because there's cameras. We're not stupid.
But I do have a feeling they're going to open. I saw something on TV today, earlier this morning.
Good. Oh, the Goodwill commercial. That's like, we'll be back.
No, it was actually a factor fear type thing that they did on the coronavirus about how long it can live on certain items and things like that. So I think that Goodwill is going to have a whole process of how they disinfect everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think once retail's able to open, I think they'll be up and going again.
Good, because I need them.
So when they all open in Lexington or whatever, I mean, I won't sleep that night. Like we'll camp out in front of because they're gonna just think about all the new stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hopefully.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let all of you all just go the day or two it opens and just, you know, fight over everything to get that fix. And then I'll go like a week or two later once the good stuff starts to try to roll out.
Well, you just gave it. That's actually smart. We're going to do that instead.
Yeah.
I'm also going to go the day it opens too, just because I miss it. I need it. So
let's talk about your process. So I know you guys do a lot of thrifting together. We'll talk a little bit about your style. It's unique. You do decor and clothing. So how do you all divide and conquer? Like if you hit a Goodwill, does one of you go to the clothing and one go to the decor?
Yeah,
it's a really interesting process.
She really enjoys looking at jackets, and I love like the shoes and accessories and all that fun stuff. So we kind of look at those first because they're our favorites.
And like we trust each other to
look at everything
to know like what we are looking for and what each other would kind of pick.
Yeah, and then so we go our separate ways, and then we kind of like I'll go through denim and she'll go through tops, and we'll just kind of see each other and know like she's over there, she's got it. And then at the end, we come together with our carts, and we have like a maybe pile and FUCK yeah pile, which is all the stuff that we're like, yeah, we're gonna get it.
We don't spell it out though. We typically
say it, but I don't know who's watching.
We're trying to.
But so then we'll come together and look at everything and kind of decide this is what we want, and then that's how we do it. And if we're together,
Liz always finds so much stuff. Like when we go in thrifting, Liz is like a machine, and I'll just look. We'll be in there for 30 minutes.
My car will be like,
and I'll be like, holy shit or crap, Liz, like you know. And but we typically will do that. Sometimes we've gone separate because like we just want to go and. You know, it's kind of more fun too when you do go by yourself because we found that when we would go together before we decided we were going to, you know, kind of split 50-50 and invest our money together on an item, we would be like, it'd be like competition against each other.
So we kind of rushed through racks because we wanted to like, oh, she looked at the dresses, but I'm going to go look at the dresses too. So it's kind of like.
Because we both would have found it anyway. So
exactly.
we, you know, we're just trying to, we found it's better and it's more efficient to kind of go together and decide what we like. And we've become more pickier, I think.
Yeah.
Like we've become better pickers because like we'll kind of have each other to be like, okay, like, is this like, do we love this? Or is it something we've never had before? Or is it really worth like $6 because that's a lot of money to us.
Now, that's the cool thing about going with somebody and kind of having the same taste. You know, you go and not only can you divide and conquer and it saves a ton of time, but I know when Scott and I have done that together, you know, he's pulled a piece or whatever, and he likes it, and I'm like, you know, I don't know, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The hard part for us was, you know, with guys' clothing or with just clothing in general, I always tend to go to the T-shirts first.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
we've been sourcing with Scott before. We went on a trip and like we kind of gave him the t-shirts because even though that's something we look for every time, like we knew that was his thing.
Like he sells
and
more
we're like,
t-shirts
okay, we're
than
gonna look
us.
more at the women's stuff, but it's still like you're like, oh damn, what are they gonna
I
find?
know,
like that,
like
you know.
he's found some cool stuff, and we're like,
But
I love you, but I'm so
So
mad.
you all find, so working together, do you all find that you all have kind of the same taste, or is it kind of is it cool that maybe you all don't have the same taste and you get to kind of play off of each other?
I think that a lot of things we do have the same taste, but then there are certain, like, we have, what is it, a niche?
like
Where it's like, I really love, like, 1970s mod, like, hippie, bright color pattern kind of stuff, which she likes too, but she is really good at finding, like, the vintage t-shirts. I'm not really good at finding vintage t-shirts.
But I've learned there's certain like things I've learned though that about t-shirts or how to find them, because I've learned a lot from Nick from Morning Company. You know, when I was learning about t-shirts, and now I've taught her about things, and so
it's kind of like we have a certain style for the store, but then we each have our own individual like styles that we can play off of.
there's definitely things we disagree on though.
Oh yeah, there's some stuff that we have to like we're getting it, and then we'll be like, all right.
And one of us is like, you know, sometimes Liz, one thing about her is you do your, like with the patterns, like the funky, like 90s and 80s. Like I have never been much of a 90s, 80s patterns kind of gal. I don't know what but she does. And so because she's like showing them to me, I'm, you know, seeing which ones are, you know, more cooler, and she's good at that. But sometimes we'll be like, that's the grandma stuff.
Yeah,
but
then I have kind of a little bit of a granny vibe.
But I bought this this jacket that was like a freaking costume jacket. It was like it was from Shakespeare, like the play. And I was like, what in the hell was I thinking, and why did I buy this to Liz? And she's just like,
I was like, I wasn't there.
But that's kind of what makes it cool, because you do have separate tastes in a way, and you can put that vibe together, you know, that style together, and it really kind of creates its own look. And so what is that look? So for you all to describe, you know, Wearhouse, Kentucky, what would you say that your style is?
I think I think that one thing about Wearhouse, and like Liz and I, we really appreciate like classic things that can be worn by a lot of different people, different ages, sizes, like, you know, really good denim. Like it's important.
Stuff that's well made.
Yeah. We've been doing research on why, I mean, because sometimes we're like, why is this worth so much? Why is this brand more valuable? Or learning about the history of it and where it comes from. So we love that aspect of vintage. And I think like leather and things like that, like well-made vintage, like textiles, cool rugs, and then like classic bags, or, I mean, we love fur, we love suede, we love velvet, but we like the patterns, but I think we're really good at like kind of traditional, like the vintage basics, you know, having denim jackets, stuff like that.
You said something very well earlier. We were like talking about this. You're welcome.
Thank you.
We're very eclectic, and it's very curated. So everything in this store, everything that we own is something that we feel so passionate about. So if it's not like a certain style or a certain brand or something, we have to have a story behind it, or we want to know more about it. So like we pick things that I feel like everything is kind of a statement piece almost.
Like you would look at it by itself and it'd be like,
yes,
you'd love it. Or it'd be cool to have.
So that's kind of, we don't have like one specific style, because we just appreciate so much stuff. Yeah.
We're not like, there's not one decade either, I don't think.
And I think that comes out in your style, 100% comes out in your Instagram, because you just said it, Liz. You know, the telling the story, each item telling a story. You can look at like the photo shoots and stuff that you all do on Instagram, and you can you look at the pictures and it almost kind of tells the story. You know, you get that vibe of the era of the clothing that you all are modeling, or maybe it's something that you all have laid out decor wise, and it almost feels like you've gone back into that period, and
that makes me feel so good.
So, well, and we try to relate it to when we style stuff, like, because there's some pieces that we've had and we're like, oh, this is just by itself, it doesn't look cute. It doesn't look like, it's not going to look good on. And then when we put it on someone and style it and make it look kind of current, or like, you know, roll the sleeves, or like put some ridiculous like silk jogging pants on with like a vintage t-shirt and a denim jacket, you know, kind of making it look modern, but it's all vintage like pieces from different times. So that's kind of fun to piece together, because then also it kind of it appeals to people that maybe aren't familiar or interested in vintage, and they shop newer clothing, but we kind of try to tie it all in together.
So one of the things that I've been asking, and this is the tough part, I think, for what we all do is, are you a collector? Would you all say you girls are collectors first or resellers first?
I'm gonna let Liz answer this one.
Okay. Do you want me to answer for both?
You can, yeah, and then I can like feed on.
Okay. So I'm definitely the reseller in the group, and she's definitely the collector. So there have been things where it's like we buy it, and I think that's why we work well together, because we love everything. But then I'm like, voice of reason, I have to be like, no, we gotta sell it, we gotta do it. I know you love it, I love it.
But sometimes, so because I've been doing this because I'm just a little bit older than Liz, just like a year.
Well, yeah.
Not really. But you know, I've been doing this for a while, and so I've come into contact with a lot of people. I think it's harder for me with furniture and art. I mean,
art, especially with you.
Yeah, because those are kind of like, those are more some items that are harder to find that I just fall in love with, and I'm like, shit, this is so good. But like, that's also the reason why it's like we do what we do. We want the good stuff, and we want to love it that much, because then other people
let someone else love it that much. Yeah,
but it's hard.
Like we just actually sold a set of chairs that we've had. We actually purposefully bought them for our shop, not this one, but the last one,
like to have at our office. Like,
and they just weren't. We just have changed so much, and our office has changed and everything. So we had them in the shop, and she put a video, and she was like, Liz, I'm doing this for you.
Yeah, and we sold them. And that's why I didn't want to sell. I knew they'd be like that, and that's what happened.
So it's kind of like the voice. She's
that's the thing too, though. I mean, the beauty of this is that you get stuff at a good price, or you find it at the thrift, and you don't have to resell it. You can just hold on to it to enjoy it, and then when you're tired of it, then you can sell it.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm cheap.
You get too much.
Yeah.
What I keep running into.
I'm just like cheap when it comes to everything. I mean, not like I have expensive taste, but if I want to spend money on it, like I'm like, because I know I'll find this one day for $5, you know. So I'm just like, oh, I don't know. I just want to keep it forever. But no, we just work well together. I think. But
it's pretty cool.
Well, no. Liz, collecting things. Liz collects plants. Like we both have a ton of plants.
I want to keep it.
But she's like starting to do a thing where she's like, I don't really know if I want to sell this one, because she becomes
so
attached
cute.
to it.
They all have names.
So
I love plants.
Yeah. But I'm not a plant guy, so I do not have a green thumb. I cannot take care of a plant.
I'm learning to have a green thumb. I killed a snake plant once, like not a long time ago, but kind of a long time ago.
That's apparently hard.
And they're literally they're called plants of steel because they don't die.
Yeah,
and
but
now I have
because I do not know plant talk at all. But
you're like, I don't know.
So the new spot, I've seen it, obviously being down there with you all some. But it looks awesome. What one of the things that I know you guys have done recently is started up the Drunken Flea. What's the plans moving forward? I know nobody really knows what's going to happen after all of this, but it will come back to life at some point.
Yeah.
So, a couple questions around the Drunken Flea. What made you guys come up with the idea, number one, and then number two, what's the plans for it moving forward?
Well,
do you want to say idea and also the second one? Okay.
Yeah, good. Conquer and divide. So with Wearhouse and like the brand itself, you know, I've always wanted to have like a vintage market of some kind, just because knowing like when my dream a long time ago when I was going to have Wearhouse, now we have Wearhouse, like having some kind of market that we were behind was kind of a dream of mine, now ours. But anyway, we noticed that what's the question? I don't want to start saying your question.
Your question was what made us start the Drunken Flea? Why do we start?
So we noticed a lot, when we started doing this full time in the winter, there's not a lot of markets for people to go and sell at. And even more specifically, there's not a vintage clothing market where you go and okay, it's going to be all vintage clothing, some home decor, antiques, and it's going to be this, and it's going to be awesome. So, there just wasn't one, because we've done a lot of pop-ups where the, you know, the vendors, like maybe some person sells handmade tables or jewelry, or, you know, some person is selling, like, I've seen like bathtub, or like, you know, the company
like
of
people
bathtubs,
who are selling vacation rentals,
that
and
kind
stuff
of
like
thing,
that.
which nothing against them, but you know, it's kind of makes it harder. It's like a bigger kind of spectrum on a market. And we were like, we want something more specific, like vintage. And there is just this really cool community of people, even in just Lexington, but even surrounding there, that we've like kind of fallen in love with and become friends with. And we're like, okay, we want something that we can all do together, where we can
share
benefit
it and be there with each other
and just be a cool group of people. And we all use each other as connections, and, you know, for personal and business growth. And so I was like, okay, there's a market like that. And then also we're like, well, you need to be able to drink too. So the Drunken Flea came to fruition kind of through that.
It was birthed.
Yeah.
Into that.
And I love that too, because the brewery aspect of it, doing it at a brewery, the time that
it's even more local.
Sundays, you know, a lot of people don't have a lot to do, and I know it's kind of started in the winter months. But I'm excited to see what it does kind of this summer, and once it comes up and people are able to be outside, and maybe you can even expand and get more vendors, you know, inside and outside. So I'm excited to see kind of where it goes from
that.
Yeah, so that was actually funny thing. The Drunken Flea, we actually invented it to be a winter market. And then everyone was like, we love this, keep doing it, don't stop. There's such good momentum going. So we were like, let's keep doing it. So now it's just going to be like a year-round thing that we do.
Because we do a lot of summer markets with other, you know, shows, which are great too. So we were kind of worried it was going to be conflicting with that, but we decided we're going to try to do all of them.
And then so going forward, we have a lot of we have boards of just ideas for Drunken Flea. We have so many good things, and I don't want to like spoil one of the big ones that we've been working on. But yes, outside and inside is definitely the direction we kind of want to go, especially in the summer, because we can have more vendors, we can have more people there, food trucks, we want to create like this culture behind vintage in Lexington, to where it's not like I want everyone talking about everybody. I want Nicely Threaded to be talked about. I want people tagging Caught Off the Backboard and HEX Vintage and all these people.
So it makes it more than about the clothes. It's also just like about uplifting other people.
It's about the community, and it's about shopping local, and like here's all these people who come together for this event and who are just so passionate about it. And so I think going forward, it's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get better. We have some crazy plans ahead.
And sorry to interrupt, I just thought of something. Another point for the Drunken Fleet, we wanted to make an opportunity for other people that were wanting to do vintage or reselling, for them to kind of be able to start somewhere, because we've had several people that the first time they've ever done like a show where they have their stuff in their name, it was, you know, at the Drunken Fleet, which is really exciting because it's intimidating to get started. It's hard to get started. I mean, it's not easy, but it's not, you know, it's a lot. And so that's kind of another thing that we really try to do. I mean, we have Swaggy P. I think he's 10 or 11, and he's this little boy. And so he's going to be at the next Drunken Flea.
Everybody, Swaggy P's going to be there.
You don't have to be 21 to be there. You just have to be 21 to drink.
I think everybody knows Swaggy P.
Everyone knows Swaggy P.
That kid is hilarious. So I'm excited because one of the things, you know, I started doing the podcast and the video,
Which we love.
Yeah.
Awesome.
This is just kind of the tip of the iceberg with this. So my idea is, and I want to do some live podcasts, some live interviews and things like that from the Drunken Flea.
Yeah.
Going to really go on location once things kind of get back to normal. That's kind of the idea. So I'm excited about that, but I have no doubt. I mean, I know the list has been extremely long of people who have wanted to set up, and now that you'll be able to set up inside and outside during the summer, I think you'll have a huge turnout. And then,
that's what we're hoping. We just haven't had. I mean, we haven't had enough space to accommodate. I mean, it's a good problem, but sometimes we've had to be selective as far as letting a new person come in, because the good thing about us is we have all the people that come up and sell, we develop a relationship, and then they want to come back and keep selling because they have a good experience. So we're trying to figure out how to incorporate that.
New people every time. I think the most vendors we've had at the Drunken Flea was 24, I think. And that was the one we did in February. We had 24 vendors.
Which that's a lot
That's a
of
lot.
clothes.
But
and it's awesome.
if we can get the outside space too, I want to have like
40 or 50
vendors. Like that would be awesome.
What about music? Do you guys want to get like maybe a band or something?
Yeah, we really do.
We've been thinking about like getting local
DJs
artists
even.
and DJs or something, and having them have like 2 or 3 hour intervals of like them being on stage and like singing and performing and doing whatever they do. And then
another part of like having, see, this is what also happens. We got to make sure we're not interrupting because I'm bad about that when you have 2 people, but we love each other. Right.
Not you,
right?
Not you, Shanda. You don't even like to talk.
I'm so bad. Well, because I just I get these ideas and then I'm like, oh wait. But so the thing is too, with the Drunken Flea, we want it to be also a very family friendly kind of thing. But towards the evening, like maybe turn more into a party, like with people, and even the people that are that have their booths set up and stuff, like it's more at the end of the day for them, and maybe they want to throw some deals at people, and it's like the music and like it kind of transitions throughout the day.
And we've even had ideas of like doing that where it's like, okay, the Drunken Fleas, whatever time we do it, it's usually 11 to 7. Okay, 7 to like 10 or 7 to whatever. It's like Adult Swim kind of, where it's just drinking and like fun and music and
PG-13. Yeah. Not PG or
you have to be 21 to get into that part.
Well, that would be fun. I think that would create kind of 2 different atmospheres, which I think would be good. I think you would get the best of both worlds. During the flea time, you would get people coming, families, all of that, wanting to shop and wanting to look through everything. And then you'd get people to maybe hopefully come back afterwards and enjoy a drink and hang out.
Yeah. Well, and it could allow, this idea just came in my head.
See ideas.
It could allow other vendors to set up maybe like, because we have different age people. We have some women that sell antiques and, maybe they wouldn't want to stay during the later hour, but then you have another like young like college guy wanting to sell t-shirts during like when it's a real party. So it, you could transition like that as well.
That's a good idea. I didn't think about that, but
I didn't think about it until now.
We just thought about it.
You're throwing all kinds of ideas. See what happens when you just start talking? It just all kinds of ideas.
So let's big post-its, we can write ideas on it.
An idea board. That's called an idea board, Liz.
Idea board.
We got one. So let me ask you this. So I know, Liz, you like to sell. Shanda, I know you said you like to collect. Both of you, though, surely have things that you hold on to and like to collect. What are those? A certain style of T-shirt, a certain theme, or a brand, or?
Yours is easy.
Oh yeah, mine's easy. Well, I collect Harley Davidson T-shirts just to let everybody know. Yeah. So send them all to me. Let me see what you got. No, I do. I don't ride, but I just love like Harley Davidson. This is not Harley Davidson though. It's American Thunder, but it's just as good to me.
Just as cool.
I have an issue collecting them. I'm picky though. Like most collectors are picky about which ones they keep.
Yeah.
But I would say Harley Davidson, and then also art. I collect art. Like I have art everywhere under my bed, like behind dressers.
So much.
Because every
single time I go to her house, we're redecorating because she has so much and she just wants to put it up somewhere.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
You draw too, don't you, Shanda?
I do. I draw a lot of nudes. I have one hanging in the office, and we've had a couple people that have been in to pick something up. They're asking if it's for sale or, I'm like, no, I just draw that. That's just my, whatever.
Put a price tag on it.
I know, but that's so hard. I was asking Liz, I was like, because I don't draw to make money, which is fine, and I have a shit ton at my house that I've drawn, but I'm like, how do you put a price point on that? Because you said someone draws a line and it's worth $100.
You go to New York and there's somebody threw some strawberries
and they're still living too. I mean, when I die, my children will have my art and the value will go up probably a lot, but now I'm like, I don't know. But yeah.
What about you, Liz? What do you like to collect?
I was actually thinking about it when she said it. I don't really plants a lot. Like I love plants.
You started a collection lately.
Well, I want to start a collection. I want to start a collection of really cool, like classic rock shirts and like 80s, like bands and artists. That's something that I've always, like growing up, my dad, I listened to Queen, Led Zeppelin, Def Leppard, my mom listened to the Beatles.
She sings it really good too. You all should hear her sing.
I'm like average.
No, she's
I'm average. But that's something that I've recently thought about starting. I have a couple like 2000s like AC/DC shirts, but nothing crazy. But something I do love collecting is like home decor. Like with the plants, I love the bohemian, like wicker, rattan style. Anything that like I love my little, the Pyrex kitchen bowls, like all that kind of homey 70s, 60s stuff I'm obsessed with.
Liz
So,
has
like,
been figuring out a lot of her style lately. Like it's been fun to watch.
I thought you were the reseller. It sounds like you're hoarding Pyrex.
Well, she got me my first set because I've been looking
The
for some,
hoarder
but
is gonna make her a hoarder.
it's gonna make me a hoarder, but I'm not at that level yet.
Yeah.
I just started
You just
collecting.
sparked. Put this on your idea board. You just sparked a thought in my head about you singing.
Okay. Oh, God.
Karaoke. Let's do karaoke at the Drunken Flea.
Whoa!
We thought about that once. It was just an idea that
Yeah.
we threw out, and then we're like, whatever. But that's such a good idea.
We actually have an old man who's like 70
What's his name?
in Louisville.
Randy?
It was like one of those names.
Dave
And
something.
he did backyard karaoke in his house, like at his house one time. Like
Yeah.
the first time we sang together, I think.
Yeah, we did the flea off in Louisville.
Yeah.
And they were having some street fair after it, and he just set up a karaoke machine in his backyard, and people were just singing karaoke.
We were getting turned
It was
in like Bill or Ronald's backyard. It was amazing.
That's hilarious.
So that's definitely, yes, something that we think would be fun.
Well,
Wait, Aaron, what do you collect?
Yeah.
Actually, I want to know.
yeah, I mean, I collect T-shirts in general. I like a lot of the older T-shirts. I like a lot of 70s, early 80s style.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, this is a ZZ Top 80s. So, I mean, I like anything music related, but I won't, like, it has to be a band that I just love or believe in.
Yeah.
I got a ZZ Top shirt like recently. It's like a personal one. You'll love it.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, I've got a couple ZZ Top, Beastie Boys, you know, so I collect, you know, bands that I really like. And I guess you would say I collect UK too. I love vintage.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
duh. You
So
were-
I have a lot of vintage UK, just kind of decor and sit around stuff. But again, a lot of it's from the 70s, 80s style. I've got a few of the 90s pieces, but I grew up in that era, so it's hard for me to really wear that kind of stuff and not look like I've just held on to it my entire life. So, but I love anything Kentucky related. And it doesn't just, I mean, I love everything UK, but anything like, I love bourbon, bourbon shirts and hats. So I guess you could say I collect and then koozies.
Koozies.
I didn't
love
know that.
Fun
Yeah, the
fact.
bar in my basement, I have cabinets in the bar behind my basement, and 2 full things are just full of koozies.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're gonna look. Okay, we're gonna get you one. We're gonna find the
A
coolest
really
koozie
cool
you
koozie.
ever
Yeah,
found.
so that's probably a collection that needs to go away because it takes up so much space. But my mom, I get that honest. My mom was a kind of a hoarder by heart, and she collected like matches and mugs and T-shirts.
Cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
crazy, all kinds of stuff. And so I inherited all that from her when she passed away. And I don't want to do that to my kids. So I probably need to get rid of the koozie collection
That's so
at
funny.
some point.
Make sure they pick out their favorites first.
Ooh,
Because then they'll be like, these are my favorites from my dad's collection.
Yeah.
you could do a free koozie like with every
Oh,
purchase
yeah.
over so much money.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. And I'm gonna do that. Once I get the website up and running, I may do something like that where
Like it's your personal collection.
Yeah.
They're all hand picked, so that makes it even cooler.
yeah, that's a good idea. I haven't
Yeah.
really thought of that. So
Look
Well,
at that.
I'd spend an extra $20 to get a free koozie. That'd be dope.
oh yeah, I mean, and especially because like I said, a lot of them are older anyway. So I mean, most of the ones that I've collected, I mean, I've gotten them from just random stores and things like that. But a lot of them are content that I like. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it got to a point where concert T-shirts were so crazy expensive, and I love concerts. So when Lindsay and I would go to a concert or whatever, rather than buy a T-shirt, I would buy a koozie because they're only $5.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
So all the concerts that I went to, I have koozies from all of them. So I may
That's really-
hold on to those and then get rid of the ones that just like have been given to me or whatever from like a business.
Don't you
Yeah.
hate paying like $20 for a new shirt?
Yeah, especially
Like
especially when you know that if you're just patient, that's the key to this, being patient, going out and digging and finding, you will find the t-shirt.
Yeah.
that's what.
So I try to, I won't go to I mean, there's no reason to go to the mall and spend that kind of money or whatever on a t-shirt. Or, I mean, some of the t-shirts even, a lot of the vintage industry, are just crazy expensive.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's buying those, but I know I'm not paying that kind of price for a shirt.
Yeah. Well, that's with what I want to collect, like the Queen shirts. Oh my, like I will never own like an original 80s concert shirt because they're like $300.
Don't say that, actually.
I mean, if I find
you
one,
could find,
I will,
you could
I
find
will
one.
keep it.
It's possible.
But like, I can't justify spending $300 on a shirt. I salute the people who do because I
and we want
appreciate
them
you.
we want you to
and
buy
I
them from
love
us.
them, and I appreciate them. But just me.
Oh no.
But just me personally.
Can you see us?
Okay. Everything's fine.
The battery.
I could not justify being like $300. Got it.
Yeah, me either. So that as you get older, that won't change probably.
I got it.
Even if I had the money, I don't think, it's hard for me unless it's a t-shirt I really really want, for me to pay that. And
yeah,
like this one, I came up on this one. I bought this one in a lot from a guy, an older gentleman, and I ended up buying like 30 shirts from the 70s. He sold concert shirts.
that's awesome.
Sold concert shirts back in the 70s and early 80s at Rupp Arena.
That's cool.
It just happened that they were mostly my size, and
That's
I bought the
awesome.
whole box from him for basically what the price of
one
vintage t-shirt is. And
That's
he just wanted to, he knew that, and he just wanted to let them live on, which was the cool part about it. But so, but you'll find it. You'll come upon it. Somebody will have it, or you'll find it sitting on the rack one day, and that's kind of kept my collection. Somehow, I had all the 90s, all the Smashing Pumpkins, all the Beastie Boys, all my t-shirts from growing up. When I went to college, I left them at my parents' house, and they're nowhere to be found.
I would be so upset.
So I lost all those t-shirts. I have no idea where they are.
Yeah.
But
that breaks my heart.
We'll keep it rolling here. Enough about me. So one of the things that I've been doing with everybody is kind of giving your PSA, your public service announcement. And it can be anything related to, it doesn't have to be related to the vintage industry. It can be related to whatever, just kind of the times that we're in right now. It can be, directed towards, kids growing up or whatever you all want it to be. But I'll let you both give a PSA if that's cool.
Yeah.
So you want to go first, Shanda?
Yeah, sure. So I was thinking about mine would be never be afraid to ask. And I always tell that, I say it a lot because I've talked to you, because I'm a little bit older than Liz, like we discussed, and I've learned some things in my day. But no, I've just, doing the past jobs that I've done as a personal assistant and just all over, I've just learned that if you ask someone, you have no idea what they're going to say, and you could be really surprised. I've asked for things. We got a ton of free clothing racks, like really nice ones, because I went into this store and just asked them if they were getting rid of any. Or, when we were starting the Drunken Flea, we went to a brewery and just asked them. We had a plan behind it, but, sometimes that's kind of the first course of action. People just don't want to ask because they assume what other people are going to say, but you don't have any idea. And sometimes it's kind of shocking when people get asked questions like, I don't know. It's fun. I like asking questions. I think it's good. You always ask. That would be my thing.
Yeah. And then mine is kind of two things in one, but one is just do what you love. Do something that you're passionate about, even if it's a side hustle or your full-time job or something. Like, do something that genuinely makes you happy, because it's so important. A lot of people are wrapped up in, 401k, which, these are important things, yes. But, like, all these things that people are telling you that you need to have and that you need to be doing. But if you're not happy, it's not going to be worth it for you. Because when you're 80 years old, you're not going to look back and be like, my desk job. You're going to look back at the time when you had that side hustle, when you were, learning how to do these new things and, you know, pushing yourself and being scared to do things and doing them anyways. So that's
being broke as shit
and
still
being,
doing
yeah,
it.
being terrified and being like, I don't know where my next paycheck's coming, but like it'll get there. You'll get it. It'll be fine. And not like, don't be discouraged. This is the second part of it. Don't be discouraged by what's happening. Like right now, it's so easy to give up, especially in the reselling industry and all these small businesses. Just don't give up on it, because this is going to make you stronger. If you can get through the coronavirus and being quarantined, you can get through anything. So yeah, that's my thing.
I love both those. I mean, you're right. I mean, just ask. All anybody can say is no. And then, you know, it's funny you mentioned, you know, trying to kind of follow a passion or what makes you, and, you know, I couldn't agree more. I mean, you can see that in what you all put out too, through your Instagram and through what you all been doing with the Drunken Flea and all of that. You can see that you guys are passionate about this and that you're enjoying it, you're having fun, and that's what life's supposed to be about. So I want to say thank you again, girls. It's been awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sounds like the army is coming now. I don't know what that noise is, but hopefully we caught everything, because the interview was great, and I hope like I said, there's not too much distraction with the noise outside here. But thank you all. This is groundbreaking for me, because you are my first female guests.
I love it.
Woman!
But thank you all so much, and stay safe, and we'll all get back together here soon for pop-ups and everything else. Okay?
Bye, baby Jesus.
Bye, Aaron. Thank you so much.
Okay, see you girls. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Awesome. That was good.
And
Hey, I'm back with Liz and Shanda of Wearhouse, Kentucky. We're going to do a heat check really quick. Are you girls ready?
yeah, we
Yeah.
are.
Okay, so Liz, what's your favorite food?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Yeah.
Shanda, what's that?
Any kind of spaghetti. You can
Any kind of spaghetti. Shanda, what is your favorite band or musician?
If I had to that's so hard. Bon Iver, because that's hard. But if I had to pick one.
Well, that's a good one. What about
Or
you?
Bon Iver, whatever you call them.
What about you, Liz?
Queen. Or
Queen?
the Beatles. Yeah, definitely.
I don't like the Beatles, but I love Queen. So.
Here comes
are
the sun.
you?
Do. Okay, anyways.
Okay, favorite movie, Shanda?
Gone with the Wind. Oh, I knew that. You didn't even tell me. I didn't know that was going to be a question. We can know anything.
What about you?
You?
What about
I don't know.
Or
I don't
shows.
know. My favorite show is New Girl. I don't know about movies though.
Okay.
That's hard.
Okay, celebrity crush, Liz.
Orlando Bloom.
What about you, Shanda?
Johnny Depp or Lana Del Rey, because she is a woman, but it's fine.
Awesome. Okay, and what do you all like to do when you're not thrifting?
Hanging out with my plants. That's the real thing I talk about.
I do so many weird things.
You draw.
I draw. I play piano. I dumpster dive. I play with my dog Blue.
Dumpster diving is thrifting. That doesn't
Oh,
count.
That's scripted, yeah.
Well,
Uh,
I drink Bud Light.
Cool. Well, girls, listen, thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun. And you all take care of each other, okay?
We
We
will.
will. You take
Okay.
care, everybody.
See you all. Bye. So I hope everybody enjoyed that interview with Shanda and Liz of Wearhouse, Kentucky. Those two are absolutely hilarious and have a true passion for what they do. If you haven't seen their shop yet, reach out to them and go check it out. And follow them on Instagram at Wearhouse, Kentucky. Now, I loved their PSA. I think it's important to love what you do and have a passion for that, but also feel comfortable and confident to ask questions along the way. I think we can learn a lot from each other, especially during these times. So I'll leave you with that. I hope everyone's happy and healthy, and I challenge you, tell somebody you love them this week. I love you all. See you next week.